At 3:18 hours local time, the first Russian assault group moves toward the edge of the Donetsk front line. Not armored, not concealed, just moving. Small infantry elements advance through shattered tree lines, stepping into terrain that has already been mapped, scanned, and pre-targeted days in advance. They don't know it yet, but they've already been seen. High above the sector, a Lelika 100 circles silently, feeding real-time thermal and movement data into a Ukrainian command node. Heat signatures flicker through broken cover. Movement patterns are tracked. Routes are predicted. Digital boxes appear over every soldier. This isn't surveillance anymore. This is targeting. Satellite overlays confirm the pattern. Previous Russian assault attempts in this sector followed nearly identical approach vectors. Tree line to tree line, short sprint across open terrain, regroup, push again. The algorithm flags it instantly. Repeat behavior, predictable movement, pre-assigned kill zones. Moments later, a second layer activates. Electronic intelligence confirms short-range Russian communications. Fragmented, inconsistent, lacking coordination. No stable command structure, no synchronized push. Interference pulses begin. Ukrainian EW units inject noise into the spectrum, distorting signals, delaying reaction time, fragmenting already weak coordination between assault elements. And that weakness is exactly what Ukraine is waiting for. At 3:21, the first strike begins. A Ukrainian FPV drone drops low over the tree line, locking onto the lead element. The operator adjusts mid-flight, compensating for wind drift, tracking a running figure. Impact. The explosion tears through the formation. The rest scatter instantly. But there is nowhere to go, because this isn't a single strike. It's a kill zone. More FPV drones follow, hitting staggered targets. One near a fallen tree line, another behind shallow cover. A third detonates just ahead of a soldier attempting to break into deeper brush, cutting off escape routes. Fragments rip through the area. The assault group collapses within seconds, reduced from movement to isolated survival attempts. Some try to crawl, others freeze. It doesn't matter. Above them, another drone adjusts altitude, maintaining visual lock. And then, follow-up strikes. This is not suppression. This is systematic removal, and this is only the outer layer. Because further behind, something much larger is already moving. At 0347 hours, Ukrainian ISR detects a mechanized column forming deeper in the Russian rear. Thermal spikes, engine signatures, tracked vehicles. The feed sharpens. 2 T-72B3 units, 3 infantry fighting vehicles, likely BMP-2 variants. Support trucks trailing behind. They begin to advance, slow at first, then accelerating, a breakthrough attempt. But the terrain ahead has already been prepared. Days earlier, Ukrainian engineers seeded the approach routes with anti-tank mines, carefully placed along predictable vehicle paths. Every likely maneuver corridor has been marked, pre-ranged, pre-sighted, waiting. The column pushes forward, unaware. Above them, the Lelika drone maintains lock. Coordinates stream continuously. Fire solutions update in real time. At 3:52, they enter the zone. The lead tank crosses the first threshold. Detonation. The explosion lifts the vehicle slightly before slamming it back down, tracks shredded, mobility gone. The column halts abruptly, and that pause is fatal because it compresses the formation. Vehicles stack, spacing disappears, and right then, the second layer activates, artillery. Ukrainian 2S-1 Gvozdika batteries fire in rapid sequence. Shells land across the immobilized column, bracketed perfectly using drone corrections. Explosions ripple through the formation. One IFV attempts to reverse. Another mine detonates beneath it. Flames erupt. Crew compartments rupture. Fuel ignites. Then comes the third layer. FPV drones. They descend into the chaos, striking disabled vehicles with precision. One targets the rear engine deck of a BMP. Another dives directly into the exposed turret ring of the immobilized tank. Impact. Secondary detonation. Ammunition cooks off inside the hull. The explosion tears through the vehicle from within, blowing the turret partially upward before it crashes back into place. What was an assault force is now a burning line of wreckage. Smoke blankets the field. Thermal signatures spike, and still, it's not over, because the Ukrainian kill chain doesn't stop at destruction. It continues until nothing remains operational. At 4:03 hours, a surviving IFV attempts to retreat, pushing through the edge of the kill zone. It gains speed, turning away from the destruction behind it. But it's already marked. A Ukrainian FPV drone locks on, closes distance, adjusts, impact. The vehicle erupts mid-movement, fire engulfing the chassis. Survivors abandon it immediately, running into open terrain. They don't make it far. Follow-up drones engage fleeing infantry. Precision strikes, one after another. No survivors remain in the operational zone. 5 vehicles entered. None leave combat capable, and this is happening across the entire sector because Donetsk isn't just defended. It's engineered. At 4:16 hours, another threat emerges deeper behind Russian lines. A BM-21 Grad moves toward a firing position, attempting to support the collapsing assault. It never gets there. A Ukrainian recon drone picks it up mid-transit, tracks, follows, then signals. An FPV drone launches immediately. It approaches low, fast, locking onto the engine compartment. Impact. Fire spreads instantly across the vehicle. Fuel ignites, hydraulics fail, the launcher burns where it stands. Another Grad reaches position further east, begins deployment, rockets aligned, targeting in progress. But Ukrainian ISR has already updated the grid. Another drone is inbound. It strikes directly into the launcher rails. And this time, the result is catastrophic. Rockets detonate inside the system. A chain reaction erupts, sending blasts outward in rapid succession, shredding the launcher and everything around it. The entire system disappears in fire. Shockwaves ripple through nearby positions. Secondary fires ignite in adjacent supply crates, and suddenly, the entire fire support layer collapses. And still, more are being hunted. Because Ukrainian drones are not just watching the front line, they are pushing deeper. Medium-range systems penetrate the Russian rear, targeting command posts, ammunition depots, and staging areas. At 4:29 hours, a cluster of vehicles near a tree-covered position is identified. Heat signatures confirm storage, possibly ammunition, coordinates transmitted. Seconds later, impact. The explosion confirms it. Secondary detonations ripple through the site, fire spreading uncontrollably. Stored munitions begin cooking off, sending fragments across the area. Logistics nodes collapse under the blast. Supply chains cut. And that changes everything, because now Russian forces at the front are not just under attack. They're unsupported. No resupply, no coordination, no recovery. Fuel shortages begin. Communication delays increase. Units operate blindly. At 4:41 hours, another Russian infantry group attempts movement toward a secondary approach line. They don't make it halfway. Recon drones detect them instantly. FPV units deploy again. One strike, then another, then another. The group dissolves under precision attacks before even reaching engagement distance. No contact, no firefight, just elimination. Across Donetsk, this pattern repeats. Every movement detected, every advance disrupted, every assault broken before it begins, and above it all, drones remain. Constant, unblinking. Because this battlefield is no longer defined by who moves first, but by who sees first. And right now, Ukraine sees everything. At 5:02 hours, the sector stabilizes. Burning vehicles mark the failed assault routes. Destroyed artillery systems dot the rear. Abandoned equipment litters the approach paths. Infantry units, gone. The Russian advance, stopped. Not by a single strike, not by a single system, but by a layered network. ISR, electronic warfare, artillery, FPV drones, follow-up strikes, deep strike interdiction, a complete kill chain. And this is why Donetsk has become something else entirely. Not a front line, not a contested zone, but a controlled battlefield where every mistake is fatal, where every movement is tracked, where every signal is intercepted, where every vehicle is pre-targeted before it even starts moving, and where every attempt to advance ends the same way. They move, they're seen, they're tracked, they're hit, and they never reach the line.